You're supposed to fail. Failing is learning. This, one size fits all philosophy didn't work. There's two things you control: what you eat and what you do physically. Everything else in the world, the weather, your friends, the work, your kids, you don't have a shot, okay? You only hope you have some control in all those categories of your life, but the two you control will save your life.
Hey guys, welcome to The Bo Show. Today, my guest is someone who I would rarely bestow the title of guru onto, but today we're going to do it. It's fitness guru and one of the most influential and innovative people in fitness and health is Tony Horton. How are you, brother?
Tony Horton's here? Oh, hey, that's me. I'm great, Bo. Thanks for having me on, man. I'm fired up.
Oh, thanks for being here, man. This is such an important episode because we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos on this channel, millions of people constantly looking for inspiration, that next thing that's going to get there. However, what I'm seeing is people are not taking their health seriously. They're not taking exercise seriously. They're not taking that frame of mind, because for me, it's you need to take care of this body so you can live long enough to see your empire built. So from hearing from you, I'd love to know, and you can tell these people, there's no one better to say it, the importance of health in not just running your business, but running your life.
Well, it's interesting. There's a lot of entrepreneurs out here in California. It's like sort of the land of entrepreneurs, right? And I see so many people with their nose to the grindstone working so darn hard to build their businesses, because it's not easy being an entrepreneur. You're not working for the man. This is you. You're covering all the territories when it comes to making sure your business grows. And you're absolutely right. A lot of people are sort of skipping the exercise and diet portion of their life, right? And a lot of them aren't getting enough sleep. They're stressed out. They're dehydrated. They're on the go, so they're eating garbage food. I can only speak for myself, but I've seen a lot of people make that shift where they begin to understand the importance of exercise and eating right, and they understand that how that improves the quality of their life tenfold, above and beyond the aesthetic purposes. We all want to look good and, have a good shape and be able to function on this earth, but the reality is when you exercise, it improves memory and cognition and sex drive and productivity. And, it's across the board because it's not just a physical thing. It's a mental and emotional, and for some people, a spiritual thing. And so for me, it comes down to behaving in such a way, exercising in such a way, eating in such a way so that it affects your energy and enthusiasm for who you want to be, what you want to do, and how you want to accomplish this journey of being an entrepreneur. And so when you're overweight, you're typically overwhelmed often because you don't have not only the physical but the mental and emotional capacity to be able to build the business that you want to build.
You're very, very, very successful in your field, but not only that, you're an entrepreneur yourself. And guys, Tony knows what he's talking about. So if Tony speaks, you listen. And what I find astounding is you had the biggest selling fitness program of all time, P90X, P90, and what started you from who you were to get you onto this journey going, okay, I'm going to be in this business, I'm going to be making people becoming the best version of yourself?
Well, a lot of people hear this story and they think, really? Is that really how it happened? But, I was not an athletic kid. I had 2 left feet. I was picked last for every team. I wanted to be a good athlete. I just wasn't. I didn't have good teachers and coaches and mentors. When I grew up in the 60s and 70s, back on the East Coast, a lot of the coaches back then were just sort of gravitated to the natural athletes, kids that were just sort of better at it than I was. And so I was left, in the wings, hoping, wanting, wishing, but just wasn't achieving. Everything changed when I came out to California. I did a little weightlifting class in college back at the University of Rhode Island, and I liked the teacher. He was unique in the sense that he wasn't a bully. And he really took his time. A lot of the teachings that I do now, a lot of the way I disseminate my philosophies, methods, and techniques stems from the way he would communicate with us. He had a sense of humor. He made it fun. Like never in my life. I'm lifting weights, right? I'm doing push-ups and pull-ups and curls and squats and deadlifts and all these different things. And I looked forward to it, unlike my experience back in high school. And so that was sort of the spark, that was the centuri, as the Japanese say, that sudden moment of enlightenment. Then I came out to California, and the lifestyle out here was just different. It's sunny 322 days out of the year. So people are skiing and surfing and playing volleyball, and there's all the tracks everywhere, local high school tracks. And And I joined World Gym, which is where Lou Ferrigno and Arnold Schwarzenegger were spending their time, and I would cheat and spy on them, taking notes from those two guys. But I also had a friend of mine who was a track athlete, so he showed me a lot of the stuff that would happen at the track. So I started doing that, and I was still playing tennis and some golf and some other things. But I just noticed early on, unbeknownst to me, that I wasn't changing my brain chemistry as a result. I didn't go into it for that reason. I wanted to be buff so I can meet chicks. You know what I'm saying? So, that was it. And that's what most guys in their 20s do. All right, if I work out, then I'll have more confidence, then I'll meet ladies. But it turns out you also need a personality. So I was an actor, too, at that time, and I was doing my improv classes and my scene study classes, and I attempted stand-up for a couple of years. That was fun. And nothing like getting booed on a stage at 2 o'clock in the morning with 4 people in the audience that are so drunk they don't even know where you are. But it thickens the skin, my friends, and that was all part of my early days. I was a member of 4 different gyms at one point because I like the variety thing. I mean, if you look at Power 90 or P90X, X2, X3, all these programs have created 22-minute hardcore and many others, there's a ton of variety in them. It's not just weightlifting. It's not just bodybuilding. It's not just cardio. It's not just martial arts. It's all of the above because it forces you to work on your weaknesses. And back in the early days, I was only doing that partly. I'd go to Pilates and yoga classes for the ladies. But I was learning a lot at the same time, and I was going to World Gym with Lou Ferrigno and Arnold Schwarzenegger and other bodybuilders because I wanted that aspect of my fitness as well. So I was trying to prevent boredom, injuries, and plateauing, which is what happens to most people, which is why they don't get the results that they want because they're doing this myopic thing, this one size fits all philosophy didn't work, and so that was it. I didn't even know. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be Jim Carrey and Tom Cruise all wrapped in one. But that was hard. So I wasn't able to accomplish that. But because I was working on the comedy and the improv and the scene study stuff, I was getting comfortable. I was getting comfortable in front of a group of people, in front of an audience, in front of a camera. And so the fitness thing just came out of the blue. A friend of mine worked for Nordic Track, and he's sort of seen my journey. And he said, I'd love you to come up to Minnesota, up there in Minnesota, and shoot some stuff with Nordic Track. And I could walk and chew gum, which, I had a fitness background, plus I could, read the teleprompter and do 2 things at once. And those were the early days for me. Then I was in the Thigh Master commercial, if you can believe that one, way back.
No way.
Suzanne Summers, a real high point in the career. And, and then Carl Deichler, now the CEO of Beachbody, we became friends early on through a mutual friend. And before you know it, I was doing this thing called Great Body Guaranteed, which was my first real on-camera instructional workout series. And I was a little stiff back then. All right, everybody, here we go. We're going to do curls now. And 1, And then, Carl got to know me and he said, why don't you bring out your personality? Why don't you just go nuts? And if you go too far, we'll do another take. And all of a sudden, everything clicked. Everything clicked. Power 90 didn't have it so much, but when P90X came out, everybody went like, wow, who's this fitness clown? This guy's out of his mind. And it worked because of the variety. Number one, it was already ingrained in who I was as a trainer with a lot of my celebrity clients. And then the modifications. No one had really showed people 1, 2, and 3 ways to do a particular exercise. It's like a progression. Instead of everybody in the back being perfect, being tan, nobody's sweating, and everybody's nailing it, We got real people who've been through the test group, who are behind me, who are hating me, cursing me out, and struggling, and everybody at home went, wow, this feels like the real deal. And, I don't know how many millions of copies later, but quite a few. And so that was the journey.
And now you're here talking to me. How
weird. You're a stud. Come on, brother.
Now, what I think is not just your journey, but people can take away something into your story there. Variety. Well, so many people hit plateaus and they get disheartened. And by having that variety, changing the way they're doing things with the main goal in mind, would you say that is quite a necessity in the entrepreneur lifestyle?
Well, if you look at a lot of entrepreneurs, I think the ones that are most successful in the end are not afraid to reinvent the wheel. Because everybody follows a formula. Okay, if I follow this formula, I'll be successful. Well, maybe that formula worked for somebody else before you, but that might not be your technique, your strategy, or whatever it happens to be. It might not be your method. So, you got to think outside of the box as an entrepreneur, And if some don't work, don't do it again. You might want to try another angle, when it comes to your process, when it comes to dealing with the people who you work with or, whatever kind of creative process that you're in. I mean, you really have to kind of look at it and say, all right, what is unique and special about me as an individual? How do I look at this thing? What is unique about this product or this process or this course or whatever I'm trying to create that is unique to me. And most people sort of have a tendency to stray away from that. They try to, and it's okay to emulate, that's not a big deal. Like, you look at Tony Robbins or Elon Musk or anybody who's amazing in their field, you think, okay, I'm going to take a piece of that. I'm not going to take the whole thing because the whole thing's not me, but I'm going to take a piece of what Tony Robbins does. If you look at who I am, I'm a combination of Tom Petty, Billy Idol, Andrew Weil, Deepak Chopra, Gary Zukav, my college fitness coach. I go, oh, I like that. I like that. I like that phrase. I like that technique. I like that method. And you sort of, you reinvent yourself. You're growing and changing and transforming over the course of years. I mean, you don't want to behave and act and proceed whatever you're doing the way you did 10 years ago, because it's probably stagnant and old-fashioned and antiquated, right? And so now what you want to try to do is, okay, what's new? What's fresh? What are the kids doing? What do kids want? Do the research, understand who your demographics are. And there's a lot to do. And, oh, by the way, you're going to fall down again and again and again and again. And it really depends on how many no's you can handle. You know what I mean? Let's say, okay, I'm going to handle 100 no's today. And if you go in that way and you understand that the no's are coming because there's something that you're doing that isn't working, so you got to do something different. Einstein, whoever said it, insanity is repeating the same things over and over again and expecting a different result. Everybody knows that by now. It is tried and true. So, and that's it. And exercise, where does exercise fit in that? It changes the way your brain functions faster. Truly does. Your brain is more capable of being pliable in situations that are difficult. And when you exercise, you're releasing norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, brain-derived neurotropic factor. That's right. Molecules and proteins coming together inside of your noggin. It changes the way you're going to get stuff done. And without exercise, it's just, what? I can't. And then you repeat those mistakes over again, and you eat a double cheese chimichanga, and you wonder why you're taking a nap at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
I feel lucky that I can't eat that stuff because, I don't know, I just feel like I need to fuel myself. And I know that my success in my life up to this point has been, the turning point was when I took my health and fitness seriously. But a key point I want to kind of hit on what you just said there is taking bits and pieces of people to create yourself. There was a great, in the U2 documentary about Bono, when he reinvented himself in the 90s, and he took Jim Morrison's jacket and Elvis's glasses and that's how he became who he was. And this channel as well, we've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos, top 10s on like Elon Musk, Deepak Chopra, all these people. I think Billy Idol's on there. That'll be cool.
Right, Billy. I train Billy now. Right.
I heard.
Billy. It's awful. It's an awful impression. Everyone from England saying, Horton, shut up with that hideous. Right. He's more like, Tony, we're doing shoulders and triceps today. Great. All right. Anyway, I apologize. I apologize to the planet.
No, we love it. He's Billy Idol's doing amazing for. He just keeps going.
Keeps going, man.
Going.
He performed at a big event that Beachbody did. He brought me up on stage. We sang Rebel Yell together. I mean, dropped the mic. I was done. That was just the most insane moment. But I trained him on and off for 17 years. I learned there's a lot of Billy in me, right? It really is. I just because he's such a huge personality, such a mega talent. It was fun times.
Well, it's not. You've trained some incredible people. Like recently I saw on your Instagram you were with Ewan McGregor, who's a national treasure here. We protect Ewan. He's very much loved in the UK. But the reason these high, big, well-known clients are coming to you is because they believe in what you do. They know what you can do. So guys, when I'm saying we've got Tony Horton on here, we want you guys to start your journey looking into his fitness programs, into his Living Large program and that. I mean it. And as everyone knows, I don't get people onto this show unless I really believe in them. So in that story, there's so many nuggets you can take out because your journey, again, you said failure is okay. You're going to fail. I know I fail. I think
you're supposed to fail.
It's the best bit.
Failing is learning. We should change. Here's what failure should be. Every time you think of the word failure, think of awesome learning moments. Failure, awesome learning moments. And so you gather that intel and you don't forget about it. You say, okay, well, this happened and that phone call didn't go well and that, he broke the contract or, whatever it is. Okay, so how do I do it differently next time? Or maybe you don't do it differently. Maybe you're just dealing with the wrong people. I mean, honestly, it's really a matter of persistence and determination and a work ethic and having a purpose and a plan and reverse engineering things sometime. Like I wrote that in my book, the big picture. Like if you're going to go to Kilimanjaro, right? How do you, like, what's the process to go from, I want to go climb Kilimanjaro. Okay, well, that's in Africa. I live in, the United States. So what do I have to do? And how many months in advance? And who should I bring with me? And, you see yourself at the top of the mountain, right there, just arm in the air. Here we are, snow all around you. What did the day before look like? I mean, you won't know exactly. You can't predict the future, but you can have a general idea that it's going to be how many steps or yards or meters or whatever it is between the top of the mountain and before, and the day before that, and the day before that, and camping, and then you figure out, well, what am I going to bring? What kind of conditioning am I going to do? It's going to be 19,000 feet. You Google all that stuff, you know what I mean? You talk to people who've been there, and you just kind of break it down before you go, so it's not as intimidating. It's the same thing as building your business. Like you see, maybe for some people it's just, X amount of dollars or something, net profit or something like that. And you say, okay, X amount of dollars, who do I got to talk to? What do I got to do? And reverse engineering things, hypothetically, is a brilliant way to build your confidence when it comes to, moving forward, regardless of how many times you fall down.
People, there's gold in this interview. Keep watching.
Gold, I'm telling you, and silver and platinum, damn it.
Start digging. We don't need to dig. It's all on the surface. But
right.
A few people found out that I'd be talking to you today, and a lot of them were kind of one of the big questions. Like my good friend Ben, he's like, he lost a ton of weight because of your programs, and he was very good. And he said he's now started a CrossFit gym in Miami, and he's doing incredibly successful. And he's trying to inspire more entrepreneurs, and he's got a big following. And one of the things he asked me to kind of, if I could draw it out of you, was and it's probably one of the easiest things you'll know, is what small changes, one or two, that people who've never been into this lifestyle could start to do to start to change their life.
Well, I would say number one is, I think the reason why a lot of people aren't successful with their fitness is because they wake up in the morning with the greatest intentions in the world, but they haven't really planned what it is they're going to do and what time they're going to do it. And so, I tell people to go buy a wall calendar and stick it up someplace where you're going to see it every day. Your bathroom mirror is one. Your refrigerator is the other one, and then maybe the back of your front door. So it just stares you in the face. And prior to the beginning of any month, you just write down in your own handwriting, okay, Monday I'm going to do plyo, Tuesday I'm going to do shoulders and arms, Wednesday's going to be cardio. You just kind of write them down, and you write down what time you're going to do that. So you set that schedule like you do everything else in your life, and it becomes priority one because you understand that if I move physically today, I'm better today. Physically, mentally, emotionally. That's the truth across the board. I don't care who you are, if you're from Tanzania or the South Pole, or you're 85 or you're 25. That is the universal truth. Fitness makes you better today because it affects the noggin and your state of get up and go better than anything else. And then you probably want to, not for everybody, but you want to try to find somebody else to connect with when you do it. You're always more successful when you have a partner. Your husband, your wife, your kids, your neighbor, your coworker, whatever it is. Hey, come on, man. We're going to do this for 90 days. Let's just do it. We're done talking. You and me, we're going to schedule it. We're going to meet. I'll meet at your house 3 days a week. You meet at my house 3 days a week. The thing is done. You know what I mean? And so that is not rocket science. I mean, it's not like what I just said is impossible. You're not digging ditches and splitting atoms, okay? You're just scheduling a workout with somebody and you're showing up. And being awful some days and having great energy some days and having no energy some days. Some days you're strong, some days you're weak. Don't judge it. Don't judge it. Stop judging it. You're judging it. Don't judge it. Enjoy the journey. And journey's the whole darn thing. That's the story. You look back and go, some days I was awesome, some days I sucked. Okay, so what? But I did it and I showed up. Number two, food. It's all about what you put in your mouth. There's a healthcare crisis in this country, and there's other ones. I don't know how bad it is in the UK right now, but it's because we can't figure out how to control our gob and our freaking hands. It's about the gob and the hands, and obviously there's something going on in here because there's a hole you're trying to fill with your gob and your hands. And what you want to do here is write that down. Make 2 lists and put them on your refrigerator. Foods that you intrinsically know that are healthy. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. Put all of those on that list. And then you write above that list, you write, eat this, okay? And on the other side, you put all the stuff that you know is causing the problem. The Malamars, the double cheese chimichangas, the 4 beers at the football game. Put all that over there, and you write, not this, okay? And then you see how well you do. And those 2 lists are there, right there. There's the good list and the bad list. And you don't have to be, persnickety about it, but you want to try to eat over here and not eat over here, because if you do this and you exercise with your pal in 90 days, boom, that's a 60-year-old bicep, 60-year-old, and there's his little friend over there, okay? So aging is for idiots. It's for people who aren't willing to do the work to figure out how to get her done. It's that simple. And once you get that formula figured out, Boom, like your friend who was like, oh, I'm overweight, I'm unhappy. Now I'm going to do P90X. Now I own a CrossFit gym in Miami, and I'm a star. And that can happen to anybody and everybody, because guess what? There's two things you control: what you eat and what you do physically. Everything else in the world, the weather, your friends, the work, your kids, you don't have a shot, okay? You only hope that you have some control in all those categories of your life, but the two you control will save your life.
Actually, before we even spoke, one of the posts that I, kind of a motivational quote that I put on my 4-Minute Masters page today was, you can control 3 things.
Ooh.
How much you exercise, what you eat, and what you think. You can control your thoughts. For
sure, man. For sure. Absolutely. I like that. I'm going to steal that. I'm stealing it.
I'll send it to you, brother. What Tony's got on there, guys, is motion equals emotion. So by changing your physical state, you're going to start changing how you feel. Like, we are all familiar with the Anthony Robbins Superman exercise where you pretend to put on a cape and walk down the street. You're going to feel $1 million. It's just the way it is. So if you're moving, get an accountability partner, someone who's going to be there with you. Is more success that way. And the last thing is that you need to fuel your body right. And there's so many resources out there. And I know that every program you do, it does come with a nutritional program to follow. So they don't think you're just going to be in the wilderness, in the wild, not knowing what to do.
Well, one little tiny bit I want to add to that, and it's interesting. Information is not enough for many, many people. For some people, the educational process is a direct line to transformation and success. But for a lot of people, there's just too many mental, emotional, and psychological things that get in your way as a result of a mind that doesn't solve problems well because of lack of exercise. I mean, it's all about chemicals. You know what I mean? You look at people with PTSD and other different things. Whenever almost anybody with any kind of ailment exercises and eats better, they're doing all kinds of. John Rady's a friend of mine. He's written the book Spark, and he works with autistic kids. And these kids are moving 5 times a day, and they eat fruits and vegetables, man. There is no fat, sugar, salt, or chemicals in anything they eat. And these kids, maybe they're not super high functioning, but there's massive improvements purely as a result of what they eat and how they move. And that happens with almost anybody. So as a young entrepreneur, you can go to every seminar, read every book, and do these different types of things. But if you really want to go into turbo mode, then you eat right and exercise. It just accelerates the possibilities.
Would you say that the discipline that you earn, and you do earn it by completing like a 90-day intensive or something, that carries into your other actions in business and your kind of decision making and carves you as a person?
It makes me less fearful. I'm a fearful scaredy cat without it. I truly am. I just feel like the world is overwhelming and nothing's going to work out. And who am I? And why am I so special? I still suffer from that, at some level. Like whenever I'm sick or something and I miss more than 2 days of workouts, I get into a little woe is me thing. I'm not here to pronounce that I'm, Mr. Giddy up and get it done all the time. There's ebb and flow in my, I don't know, sometimes it's barometric pressure and biorhythms and not enough sleep and maybe too much salt in my dinner. I can't control a lot of the things, you know what I mean? But I can control movement and I can control hydration and I can control, how much I eat. And when I do those things, the odds go up. And not every day is perfect. I mean, I'm not proclaiming that's going to happen for anybody. I don't know who you are. But the ultimate goal here is joy, happiness, and laughter, really. I mean, it's joy, happiness, and laughter. I mean, what's the opposite of joy, happiness, and laughter? It's all those things that you don't want. Right? It's all the things that make you sad and gloomy and depressed and overwhelmed. All right? So if I move today, I can push that part of the way my brain might go by moving and eating well and getting sleep and hydration. I mean, it's more than just those two things, but it's just basically healthy behavior. And so you want to up the odds because it's about joy, happiness, and laughter. That's what it's about.
Well, I know from me, as someone, I had a privileged childhood, and then in my early 20s, we lost everything, became homeless, and I succumbed to anxiety, depression, and the true meaning of like PTSD. I had a traumatic event, and I had stress from it, and I didn't know what to do. And it was through movement, through exercise, through yoga, Pilates, and that I found who I was again. And I was Fat Bo, and then I was Squidgy Bo, and now I'm Tone Bo. But I'm happy with that because
I love that.
What it did for me was it realized I can control this. So, and then next thing I know, my thoughts, I can start moving my thoughts in the right direction, and boom. So I think just everyone on this channel and everyone who's watching, thank you so much for doing what you do in the world. And I think if one more person learns about it, two more people, it is going to change. It's going to change the world, because someone's going to live longer. They're going to be there to see their grandkids, their great grandkids. They're going to be there to enjoy more suns. They're going to see more innovations. Like every day, Elon Musk seems to be coming out with something amazing. Don't you want to be alive to see that?
I do, man. I'm gonna be done at 109. I figured 109, I'm gonna look like crap. You know what I mean? But I want to try to go. I'm trying to go long. You know, I mean, I'm still suffering from vestibular issues from Ramsay-Hunt syndrome that I had back in October. It lasted about 5 months. It was a brutal time frame for me, but it was the diet and the sleep and the hydration and the exercise that brought me back. Not 100%. It's one of these things that sometimes takes a year or more. But actually, there's an athlete, an English athlete, Lizzie Yarnald, who won gold 2 years in a row, has the same thing that I have. So, you know, I use her as an inspiration, one of your fellow countrymen that really inspired me to no matter what, you know, at 10 o'clock at night in Jackson Hole, it's -4 degrees outside. And I go, you know, I'm going to the gym because Lizzie won gold in Korea. She's a badass. So she can do it. I can do it. And it really, you know, what inspires you? That's the most important thing as an entrepreneur. What keeps you going? What keeps that light on? You know, I mean, it could be anything and everything. And if you do the diet and the exercise, the odds for your success go way up. One more thing I want to say: if there's anything Tony Horton you're interested in, go to TonyHortonLife.com. Check me out. I'll be at the Omega Institute in New York. Darren O'Lean, a great event. The two of us, the 27th through the 30th in San Diego. If you want to sign up, tickets are up for sale. I just got the link. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to read it because I want to get it right. TheParagonEXP.eventbrite.com. That's TheParagonEXP.eventbrite.com. It's going to be an amazing 4 days. Amazing speakers, rock and roll artists going to be there. They're going to jam. It's going to be fun.
And I hear you're going to be doing your Billy Idol impression, so everyone's going to love it.
Right. I know. I was going to sing Rebel Yell, but then that'll destroy how great this interview has gone so far. So.
One last question, and it's what we ask all of the best of the best. It's Evan's big thing. It's what launched Evan into stardom. And Evan's lives by his one word. And Evan's one word is believe. And he wants people to believe in themselves. He believes in himself and unlocking that. My one word is incredible. I want to do incredible things. I want to be around incredible people, talk to incredible people. Everything, my experience is incredible. Do you have a word that you embody and go, that's me? You know, God, one? You're going to make me pick one? You know, I was going to pick love, because just love. All you need is love. But I'd have to say humor. Mine is humor. When I'm laughing because of humor, or I'm making people laugh, I just feel so present under those conditions. There's a great interview with the Pope, and he said the two things that are most important for mankind is a smile and humor. And I went, oh yeah, I like that. So I'm going to go with humor. I've been smiling my face hurts from just laughing and smiling this whole interview. It's been one of my favorites. But guys, we're going to put all the links below for everything. And do check out Tony's course with Brendan Bouchard, Living Large. It's fantastic. And Thank you. That's not just health and fitness. That's Tony's principles to how he looks into success. So, guys, I started with personal development. That's how I got going. I didn't get that in school. Personal development launched me into fitness and health and where I am now. So it's a course. It's autobiographical in some respect. You know, it was my journey from being stuck and upset about where I was going to making dramatic change. And it's a fun course. There's a lot of humor in that one too. Oh, it's strange you say about courses, because I used to be a rock musician and tour the world, and now I'm interviewing gurus and masters all over. It's very strange, but I just go with it, man. But you got a great journey, Bo. You're doing a lot of things. This is an amazing thing you're doing. You're affecting a lot of people. These sessions with me and other folks that are influencers in our world. You know, not everybody has access. They don't have direct access to me. You know, they have to come to events and different things, and I don't get to talk this long. Like, you know, we'll do Q&A. So it's powerful what you're doing, and thank you for having me on. Well, thank you very much. And I'm just doing this because I want people to basically become the best versions of themselves. And you could be one of those pieces that ignites something in someone, and they go, you know what, tomorrow I'm not going to have my big ass latte with my donut. I'm just going to look into maybe one of your programs and just start. That's all we can hope for. That's all we can hope for, brother. But guys, thank you so much. This has been The Bo Show. As you can see, we are on a roll with guests. So, Tony, any last words before we go? Bring it. Get some. Live large. That's it. All I got to say. I love it, guys. We'll see you for another Bo Show soon.
Okay, brother. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Tony Horton. The guy's a powerhouse, and I had so much fun recording that interview. If you watch it again, you'll just see me smiling the whole way through. The reason I got one of the best fitness experts on the planet on here for you guys is because I want him to change your life like he's changed millions of people's lives. Because the belief is if you can look after this, your body, and you can take care of this temple, that means you're going to have better control of your mind. That means it's going to alter your decisions and your finances, your businesses, your relationships, your entire life. And also, when you feel good about yourself, the confidence that you gain to go into the world, you're going to make decisions you didn't even know were possible. I really believe that we're put on this planet and we should at least at one point in our lives see the best version of ourselves. So why not physically become that best version of ourselves? The variety Tony talks about is not just weight training, but also plyometrics, cardio, lifting weights, yoga, Pilates, you can do some dance, whatever gets you going. But that variety is the spice of life. And by applying that approach to your business, a variety of approaches to a destination, you might knock on doors you never knew possible. The other thing I took away from this interview was Tony's one word. Tony's one word was humor. And humor is such a big part of my life because I know when I feel good and I'm laughing, it's impossible for me to feel bad and sad and negative and depressed. And I know that humor and exercise together got me out of depression and anxiety and PTSD. I know that got it out of me. So guys, I really recommend you start looking into your health, start eating better, start working out, because you want to live long enough to see the empires that you're going to create. And also start laughing more. If you want a quick laugh, go onto YouTube and look up those videos with cats and cucumbers. They always give you a laugh. So guys, I hope you took away something amazing from this, just another part that's going to turn you into the ultimate version of yourself, and you're going to change the world by doing this. So until we see you on the Bo Show next time, if you have any comments on this video, please put them below. I'd love to hear from you. If there's anyone you want to see on this channel, just let me know, because I'm open to all kinds of guests. So have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you for another Bo Show soon.
Well, hello, it's Tony Horton. How are you? You know, I'm glad that you've really enjoyed this interview. I can tell because you're watching it, because I can see you. Anyway, since you're here, I know you're really going to fall madly in love with this next one. I mean, I'm talking about knowledge consumed by you. All you got to do is go right over there.